guys, we're back the next day, messing with my dad's car again. So yesterday we tried to separate the oil line off of the blower so we could run all that liquid stuff through there. Made a huge mess on the ground because it just blew the fitting off. We tried to cap it with, well, I tried to cap it with a little vacuum cap and a zip tie. It wasn't enough. The oil everywhere, but we got all that cleaned up. Got the car back put together, fresh oil in it, and we went to fire it up last night, and I just didn't want to fire. Just pulled the, so my dad said we were going to pull everything apart. We had to lift the radiator up in this car because the oversized crank, kind of like the one you can see here on the 86, the one on my dad's car is bigger, but had to pretty much lift the radiator out of the car to get room to be able to access the crank to turn that over by hand. So right now we got that lifted up. We're about to turn it over just to verify that we have it at top dead center on cylinder number 1, and then try to fire it up again. At least that way we know that the timing should be right. However, we just pulled the plug out of number 1, and I might have messed up and not had that spark plug fully on the plug. So just clean the top of that. It looked like it wasn't firing, but I'll flip it around here and show you how we have the radiator suspended. So to give us the spacing we need right now, we got these bungee cords up so you can see how much we lifted the radiator up. So we will use a lift to lift it up a little bit. I'll roll under there, and then the ARP crank bolt is a 16. So I'll turn that over. We'll just barely lift it off the ground because I don't want my dad getting on that ladder with his arm like that. So just high enough to where I can get under there, but he can put his finger on cylinder number 1. We'll turn it over, make sure it's at top dead center, and try to get this thing to fire up again. All right, guys, we finally got this thing started. I will say it sounds much better. So right now I'm just gonna hook my laptop up, just verify the timing, see if the fuel stuff that John was talking about last time just kind of worked itself out. But everything we did with John, we're gonna have to redo because we messed with kind of everything doing everything we did to the car with the beginning of this video. So I'm about to go grab the laptop, hook it up, and just verify what the timing is. But we unplugged the sensor for the timing. With a timing light, I seen 10. The computer should be adding 10 to it, I believe. So don't quote me on that yet. All right, guys, after some technical difficulties with my laptop because it like crashed, I had to take it inside, tried to do an update when it wasn't connected to the Wi-Fi and all that. But anyways, so now, as you can see, TPS is like it's 0.94, 0.93, and our idle is set to be at 900, and it's bouncing between like 888 and 930. So I think that's as close as we're gonna get. I just took a video of what I just showed you guys for a couple seconds, sent it over to John, so we'll see if he texts us back here in a little bit. All right, guys, here we are the next day. So John has been texting me. So in our adaptive little file right here, he had me enable this. So all that should be like the computer monitoring the fuel adding and taking away and all that stuff like that. So now we're just monitoring everything. And I think before these were really high, they were at like 0.20, and I think he said they were both supposed to be like 0.02. So now they've dropped down a lot more. So I think John's gonna like what he sees. I already took him a video of the same thing I'm showing you guys and sent it to him. I'm just waiting on him to respond back. All right, guys, so this was the last screen John had me pull up, which is the ISC. So obviously those numbers just dropped down now because the computer's not hooked up. But when I sent him a video of everything running on this page, he said it looked perfect. So he said the game plan is tonight he's gonna send me, this whole little thing is called a workspace. So every time he sends me something, it's a workspace. So tomorrow he's gonna send me a workspace that is a data log, and tomorrow morning is the first drive with this thing. So how do you feel about that, Dad? Very insightful. So yep, tomorrow's gonna be the first drive and data log, so we'll pick this up then. So only issues we had, back definitely needs, the fenders need to be rolled because they're hitting pretty bad, and you guys could probably see where it's slightly scraping, maybe just a little bit. You can definitely see it on the bottom down there. But so that the Innovate boost gauge, I'm just gonna say that all Innovate is trash. So we're gonna look to get rid of that Innovate boost gauge because it's not working. and I'm in the programming settings and it's not doing nothing. So there's an Innovate map sensor there. I think we're gonna go something different, and we've had really good luck around here with AEM. So I'm gonna look into the AEM boost gauge for this car. That's what Jalen's running in his car. I already have the Innovate wideband for this. But the other thing was we hit a bump turning into the development and the whole car cut off. Came back on, kind of acted a little funky after that, but we noticed that if you look right here, that nut was loose, and that's where all of our power wires are going to the starter relay. So we tightened that up, kind of just drove around the block because I was playing with the boost gauge, seeing if it made a difference. Didn't notice any issues with the car. So we're about to hook it back up to the little battery tender and let it sit. All right, guys, this is the next day. Jalen's been the one out here helping my dad because my back's messed up and my dad's still recovering with his surgery on his shoulder. But that transmission harness I showed you guys last night, yeah, that is. But it's right here, zip tied up out the way. We got it plugged in. As soon as we started the car, it went into reverse. And John was right, and I'll show you guys when we get the car down. So guys, I just have it up top here, but this is the other end of that harness. You do have to repin it. So we move the brown wire up to this top corner. So you really just need the red, the brown and the red from what John was saying, I guess pretty much. So we repin this end of the harness. Got that plugged up, so we gotta make sure that gets about the way so the headers doesn't touch it. So that takes care of the transmission problem. We did find the correct wire, or Jalen found the correct wire through here for the map sensor. So that seems to be working correctly. I just gotta hook the computer up and reprogram that. John had us double check the piping for the back of the blower to make sure no other unmetered air was getting in pretty much on this back side, because that could be throwing things off. So my dad and Jalen checked that out. They said that's good. So the last thing we're waiting on is we have two map sensors, one for the Innovate, one for the Pro-M. We're waiting on a new Pro-M map sensor to come in because that one was still like pinged out at like 23.9. Guys, as you can see right here, this is the other end of the 3-pin connector we needed for the map sensor. It was lodged somewhere down there in the dash. So next I'll probably back this car up and grab my laptop to reprogram the Innovate boost gauge. All right, guys, so I just wanted to jump in here and kind of wrap this video up. So the final progress with the car was boost gauge just working. We actually got it up to 2.3. So that's fixed. Reverse lights are fixed on the car now since we got the harness installed. However, John told us not to go watt, but to see boost, you kind of have to. So I did a little bit more than spirited driving just in a second, just kind of hit it just to see what happened. Car broke up at 4,000 RPM. He's seen it on the log and said the car went really lean. So we have a fuel issue going on with the car, which we don't believe it is the injectors because those are new. They're the Ford 60-pound injectors. Ordered them from LMR. Our fuel pressure regulator's new. So, and we do have the return line is stock. The feed line is a little bit bigger than the factory. I don't know how much because that was years ago when a shop here in the Springs called RMCR did that. I know it's bigger than factory. So that leaves either we have a Stealth 340 pump in the back with the T-Rex external. And one of those could be going bad or not working. I mean, I think the T-Rex is working because it's so loud. But anyway, so I'm thinking we're having a fuel pump issue. So we're going to tackle that next.